So how do you have a conversation? Because that's what I'm doing. It's my privilege to be able to serve you tonight. And I consider it my honor to be able to serve you. I don't feel like I'm worthy to serve you, but I feel like it's my opportunity, so I want to do that. So how do you have a conversation when there's a room full of people, some of them are married and single? Like, it would be, there's complexity to that, because the singles want to have a singles conversation, and people who are married want to have a marriage conversation. And so I'm going to try to do the best I can with that. So what I'll do is, I'm going to give you points to think about, and I'll just jump around. I might give a point to single people, then I'll say, let me say this to married people. Then I'll say, I got something for everybody. And just see how it goes. Is that all right? Tell somebody if you believe by faith, tell them we're going to have fun tonight. Amen. In fact, tell them we already having fun. Amen. Let me start off by saying the singles. I believe, now understand, I haven't been single in 31 years. I met my wife 31 years ago. So it's been a long time since I've been single. So I ain't gonna try to act like I know what's up. There's a lot of new stuff out here. They ain't had the internet when I met my wife. But here's what I think is timeless. I think if I'm single, here's what I want. I want to make clarity a priority in my relationships. I think you got to make clarity a priority. You should write that down, because this is important. Make clarity a priority. And I think that goes both ways. I think one of the ways you make clarity a priority in your relationship as a single person is if you're in a relationship or you're contemplating a relationship or there's some person of interest or some people of interest, always be upfront with them. And, you know, some of us got to get to the point, I'm too old for these games. Like this ain't Xbox, this is my life. So clarity says, this is what I am, this is who I am, and this is what I'm about. If I don't want an exclusive relationship, if you're that kind of person you want to date around because you're single again and you want to try to see what's out there, or you lost a lot of weight and now you have to try with people winking at you. You say, well, let me see if I can get more winks. Like, just be honest with people. Like, I'm really just trying to be free right now. I ain't trying to be locked in and focused on any one person. I want to have the flexibility. I mean, be honest and upfront with people. And you ought to get clarity from people too. I think a lot of people find themselves in relationships where there's some level of ambiguity about where you stand. I can't live like that. If you don't want me, tell me. Like, don't keep dragging me along because you're scared you're going to hurt me. Hurt me today so I can make it. I'll make it tomorrow. Hurt me right now. Don't hurt me, but don't hold on to me. Don't hold me up if I ain't got no future with you. Let me know. And some of you are so adverse to being hurt with the truth. You're so truth reality avoidant. You're a truth reality avoider. And because you avoid being hurt by the truth, the person you're in a relationship has discerned that, so they don't want to hurt you. So they just keep stringing you along. They have no intention with you being a part of their future. But see, what I'm saying is, the person that's really, that you really want to be in a relationship with is not going to play with you like that. Because you don't play with things, you only play with things you don't intend to own. If I go to the store and I don't want to buy something, I just play with it while I'm in the store. But if I'm gonna buy it, I'll be like, y'all stop messing with it. I'm buying this one, but don't even test drive it that hard. You understand what I'm saying? Be careful with this, because I'm about to take this from the dealership. I'm about to walk out of the store with this. But if I don't have a problem, if I don't plan on buying it, I'll play with it all day. We play with stuff we don't intend to own. So you're in a relationship with somebody that keeps playing with you. And here's how you know you're in a relationship with somebody playing with you. When somebody asks you about the relationship, say, girl, what's up? Girl, I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm so confused. He be having me so confused, girl. One minute he want to take me to Cancun with him. Then the next minute he be acting like he need his space and stuff. And then One minute we all serious and he's saying he wants to settle down and have children and have a family. Then the next minute he telling me don't be going through my phone because it ain't like that with us. And girl, I be just wanting to have a drink when I think about it. If you don't have clarity about where you stand in a relationship, that's not good. So I'm saying, even if we're going to be, we got to be clear. Tell somebody we got to be clear. I'm going to be clear this year. That's good right there. I'm going to be clear this year. Everybody say that. I'm going to be clear this year. I'm going to be clear this year. Got to get clarity. Because when people are playing with you, that's a revelation that you're an option. You understand that, right? That means you're expendable. You understand? I can lose you because I got other options. Let me jump over to marriage for a second. I'm coming right back to y'all single people. Whenever I meet with a couple and one of them is done, very rarely can somebody be completely done and they've been joined to a person and been fully invested in a relationship. When they're really done, it's usually another option. Nobody will say that. It may not even be a full-fledged affair going on, but somebody is DMing them. Somebody is sending Facebook messages that they used to have a relationship with, and it's now rekindled something, and they said, you know what, you were the one I always thought that should have been the one anyway, and it's kind of shifted in that direction away from you, but now that we both are in this situation and we realize we're the ones that we always wanted, and that's why they start acting funny in the marriage. Let me come back to the singles for a second. So when you're in the world of poker and in blackjack, they have something called a hole card. Yeah. I know y'all Christians only play Uno. Christians believe that the devil's in the jack. You see that jack got the devil in it. Some people so say they don't play nothing but Uno. I play cards. I play pinochle, bid, whist, spades. I declare war, go fish. What up? Anyway, in poker, a hole card. A hole card, when you get dealt your hand, you get dealt in poker, all of your cards are visible except your hole card. And sometimes you get two hole cards. Hole cards are always face down. Only the recipient knows what the hole card is. Hole card is always secretive. Nobody knows it but you. One of the ways you can know your whole card is when your relationship is always on the down low. You go with somebody that you live in Largo, but he always want to go to the movies in Dumfries. Down the road, 3 hours to the movies. You can't even wear your Black Panther dashiki. You can't post it online. You can't do nothing. No, I don't like nobody in my business, shorty. I don't want nobody all up my business, shorty. You a whole card. And the object of a whole card is you hold a card just in case, because if let's say you're a 7 or you're an 8, you might be holding the card in case he pluck a jack or a queen. Then I can upgrade. So I hold you. They used to call it an ace in the hole. I hold on to you till something better's coming along. But I'll never go public with you. I'll always tell people when we see, if somebody does catch us all the way out in Dumfries in the Black Panther movie, I'll introduce you as just a friend. But that night I want to have sex with you like you're my wife. And you dumb enough to keep falling for it. So publicly you're platonic, but privately you're freaking. Your whole card. You should see y'all's faces. Y'all want me to dial it back? I dial it back. Let me come on. First, giving honor to God, Pastor, saints, and friends. Jesus Christ was the head of my life. I just thank God that I'm here tonight. I just think we should all love one another and just be with Jesus. Your whole card. Somebody say, be clear this year. You know where I stand in this here situation. Break my heart today. Now, I'll cry, I'm going to cry. And it ain't just ladies. Some of you fellas know that some lady playing with you. You spend all that money on her, and then she act like she down with you one minute, then she act like she can do without you the next, and she playing games with you. I'm saying the same thing. Women are players too. Ray Parker Jr. said, she can fool around just like you do. Hey, don't kid yourself into thinking that you don't. We the old school people at. Gonna be clear this year. How y'all doing? Give me Genesis 2:23 and 24. It was read by that brother over there. He read the scripture so good he was hungry. He went on the hallway and started eating. Came up here all mellow after worship. Hey, how y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Genesis 2. Speaking from your chest. Genesis 2:23 and 24. I want to say something to the married couples. Listen to this. Got to read the New King James Version. You come to Glenard and read something other than the New King James Version and watch leprosy will jump on you. I remember I was around Pastor Jenkins one time. I slipped up and quoted from the NLT. I thought I was going to die in his presence. I'm sorry, Pastor. I don't know what came over me. Adam said, this is now bone of my bone. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. She was taken out of me. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Write this down if you're married or you're single. Be all one. Be all one. Be all one. Some of you can't stay married because you can't get one. T.D. Jakes says he used to fall out of bed a lot as a kid. And he couldn't understand why he kept falling out of bed at night. She said, Mom, he asked, why can't you fall out of bed? She said, I don't know, let me watch you. So for several nights, 3 or 4 nights, she would stay up, half asleep, sitting in her chair, watching him sleep. And sure enough, every night he fell out of bed. After the 4th night, she said, I got it. I know where you're falling out. He said, Mom, why do I fall out of bed? She said, because you don't get in all the way. Some of you can't stay married because you don't get in all the way. Adam said about Eve, she's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. That is anatomical synchronization. You should have said amen to make me feel smart. I mean, anatomically, you can't get any closer than bone and bone and flesh. We are joined. We are united. We are as close as we can be. We are one. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Can you get any closer than that? Look at the next verse. The next verse says, and therefore shall a man leave. Everybody say leave. His father and mother be joined. Everybody say join. To his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Leave, join, one. Leave, join, one. Leave, join, one. It is difficult when you've been single longer than you've been married, which is just about everybody in here. You know, you've been single most of your life. You've been married a fraction of your life. So we know how to be single. We know how to be independent. We know how to control our own free time. We know how to spend our money the way we want to spend it. We know how to spend our free time the way we want to spend it. We know who to hang with when we want to hang out. We know, it's true. We worked all our life to get this independence. Now you're telling me that I'm married. I now have to check in with somebody about how I spend my time, how I spend my money, who I'm around. Man, I worked all these years to get up from under my parents' authority. I just got free. Now you sound like a parent Prince George County, you sound like a parent. You from Maryland is a parent. Anywhere else in the world is a parent. You from Prince George County is a parent. You sound like you're trying to be one of my parents. Now I'm your spouse. And you want to, watch this. The reason why you can't be joined. Everybody say joined. Joined. Derivative of the word joined is joint. Joint accounts. Joint insurance policies. Joint tax returns. I done lost most of y'all in that. Most of us come into a marriage, we got independent accounts. You got the credit union account, they got a bank account. You got a P.O. box somewhere just in case something pop off, they got a P.O. box somewhere. You got your own money, they got their own money. You file your own taxes, they file their own taxes. Only thing y'all share is a bed. And I'm telling you, the less entangled and joined you are, the easier it is for you to bounce. That's why you bounce. But it's hard to bounce when your money tied up and both of your names on the rent, and both of your name on the lease, and both of your names on the mortgage, and both of your name on the tax returns, and both of your names on the insurance policy, and both of your name on the checking account, and both of your names on the bank account, and both of you are working together to make decisions for the future, and both of you are all in, both of you join together. You're a joint. It's hard to break up a joint. You want the benefits of marriage, but the liberty of being single. So now you get to have sex without saying, Jesus, I'm sorry, but you're not committed to the person. Let me back it up again. Father, I just pray that we would just have a wonderful time of fellowship and community. Watch this now. Therefore shall a man leave his most valued relationship. My father? And don't you dare tell me to leave my mom. Dear mom, I will always love my mom. She's my favorite girl. You only get one, you only get one. You understand? That's my mother. My sons got my wife's name tattooed on their arm. Ain't got me nowhere. And I'm the one that paid for everything. You talk about a man leaving his mother? My wife said something to me. Don't y'all ever tell nobody this. My wife said something to me one time in the worst part of our marriage. We had a bad marriage for 23 years. That's a fact. She said it was 21. Well, hey. I'm off by 2 years. She told me one time, she said, your mother want to be married to you. Oh, hey. That was a violation. That sounded nasty. But what she was saying is, your mother won't let you go. And she was right, and I wouldn't let her go. I remember the night I had to tell my mother in front of her husband, you second now. You don't get to call me when I'm out with my wife. And you think that I knew that coming in. I'm a minister and all that. But my that's my mother. What you talking about? My mother raised us by herself in the hood. But you can't join till you leave. Yeah. Some of us are having a connection problem because we're having a disconnection problem. You can't be all in because you ain't all out. I don't care if it's your mother. Forget about your old flame on Facebook. How do you think you're going to maintain not to be joined to me? See, we have a problem. We want to call our spouse spouse insecure when they start raising issues about people they have problems with you being close to. The issue is, it is insecurity, and I'm going to tell you why it's insecurity. It's because the relationship is not secure. If the relationship is secure, I don't have to be insecure, because insecurity is present where security is absent. And if you would secure and lock down this relationship and protect us from every other person that would bring it down, then I don't have to be insecure. I tell the truth. Leave. Cut ties. Burn stuff. Sever it. Change your number. How you gonna have this? You've been a player forever. How you gonna have the same cell phone number? Well, I don't call them no more. Well, you don't know when they're gonna try to call you. Then you gotta answer for that. When the cell phone wreck comes, that's one less thing you gotta do. Change your number. You gotta make people from your past catching up with you difficult. Stop being all accessible to everybody you used to be close with. Leave. Everybody just yell out, leave. Leave. Even your most trusted relationship has to be left for this new one. Because now your spouse is your focus. Some people didn't leave. Some people want to get married but don't even want to adjust their life. Nah, I travel. I go to Vegas every year with my friends. You want to stick? What? So you're a lady. Me and Keisha still be going to the club and stuff. Are you serious? You should slap yourself for that, just for saying that. All your girlfriends single and promiscuous. They marriage records. Here you out there with your married self, still trying to go to the club. Here you are at Buffalo Wild Wings drinking beer with your old single buddies. And when your spouse has a problem with it, then you want to argue something about, they was with me before I knew you. When I'm supposed to keep my people and my homies. Them niggas was with me from the beginning, Sean. Tell you that right now. I'm sorry. I'm just checking to see how real y'all want me to be here. The Bible says, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forward to those things which are before, I press towards the mark of the high prize of God, which is in Christ Jesus. The world says, don't ever forget where you came from. God says, forget it. Somebody's wrong. Just because I grew up with you don't mean I'm supposed to grow old with you. Now that we ain't growing in the same direction. Any relationship that you have that is not supportive of your marriage must receive distance and severance, if necessary, from you. You got to create boundaries. You should be in a marriage couples group now, going out with married people. Get around. If you got your handcuffs on, come on, join us. And I got a word for all you married people that don't want to wear a wedding band with your slick self. I don't do jewelry. I ain't into jewelry. You lying. You slick. There should be something on your finger that identifies you as being taken and spoken for. The fact that you can remove your ring means you can remove your commitment. I wore this same thing I don't think it ever came off. I jammed my finger one time. It almost popped on my hand. It's a statement. It matters. It does matter. Somebody should be able to look at your hand and say, let me move on. You like having a little bare hand. Your hand been bare so long, it ain't even got the sign that it was a ring there. It should be a little mark there. How y'all doing? How How you doing, brother? Is this a video? A video? Are you official? Okay. He with y'all? Seeing this joint at the barbershop later. Hey, he's selling it too, like, yeah, man, got that new jump. Let me say something to everybody. You know I didn't see the clock when I started, so let me see where we are. Give me a sheet or something. Okay, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Leave, join, only can be one. It's intentional. Connect things. Put it together. Bring it all together. I'll say more about that. I don't know. I don't have time. Let me give something to everybody. This is not for single women. This is everybody. You know, we've been created in the image of God. I believe that God is triune. I'm not trying to make a doctrine about it. I believe that God is one, but he's revealed himself in three distinct persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I'm not here to debate that theologically, but I think God is triune. He's one God, but he's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Well, he's made his creation triune like he is. What's up, everybody in the overflow? Everybody in the other rooms? I hear some people in the other rooms want to shout them out. 2 overflows. God bless y'all. Clap. Let us hear you. Let us hear y'all. Oh. Let us hear y'all. Whoa. I'm telling you right now, if they act up in here, I'm coming right over there to talk to you. So God has made us triune. The way he made us triune is we're made up of body, soul, and spirit. Let me get two people up here, a man and a woman. Let me say age, let's do 28. I've been using 28 lately, I don't know what. Maybe I want to be 28. Maybe it's 2008. You 28? I need a 28-year-old man. 28. 28. Anybody 28 is a man? Yeah, it's going to be easy. If you're in overflow and you're a 28-year-old man, just run in here. Come over here. Let him in. It's 28. Come on up here. Yeah, all the brothers scared to death. He said, nigga. There you go. Hey. 28? All right. Watch this. What year were you born? 1989. Here you go. Okay, y'all do this. Okay. 28. Now, body, soul, and spirit. For the most part, we kind of mature at the same place physically. 28 years old, we kind of grow into maturity, physical maturity at the same pace. Spiritual part of us starts when we're not born, but when we're born again. The spirit part of our life starts when we're born again. Just step aside a little bit. You're too close to her. So let's just say, what's your name? Vaughn, what's your name? So let's just say Vaughn started his relationship with God at 11 years old. He got saved at 11 years old, and he really meant it. And he's been following Christ for 17 years. But let's say Tiffany just got saved at 26. What I'm saying is, by virtue of reality, he's going to be further along spiritually if he's been consistent than she is. I'm saying you just have to respect and understand that gap. We look at people who are the same age as us, but they just came into this, right? Their spirit just was made alive. So there's a maturity gap. But here's the thing I want to focus on. There's a third part of us called our soul that's often neglected by church people. Like, we work out and get our bodies in shape, and we go to church to get our spirits right, but our soul is just as important. In fact, the Bible says God wants us to be whole, body, soul, and spirit. The soul of a human being can become very retarded. I don't say that in a negative sense. I mean, its growth is retarded. Its growth is delayed based on, some of y'all may have heard me do that talk at Zion or Glenarden, where I talked about the difference between where Adam and Eve were from. Right? Like Adam is from the ground and Eve is from the rib, and we have differences based on where we're from. But the differences with your soul is not based on where you're from, it's based on how you were raised. And most often, it's not always men, but a lot of us men were raised in a way that our soul was crushed. Some women were raised the same way. Let me explain it to you. Your soul is housed somewhere between the front of your shoulders and your waist. This is your soul region. It is the place where you feel, where you emote, you cry, you have passion, you hurt. It's where your heart exists. And the natural reaction to emotional pain is tears and crying. And when Tiffany, I'm just saying, for example, most women in this situation, when Tiffany was young and she was a little girl, if she cried and she was 6 years old, somebody would hold her tears. Why are you crying, baby? What's wrong? Somebody hurt you? But her tears were never rejected, particularly if she was raised by somebody healthy. Now, when you're raised by somebody who's unhealthy, they don't give you a world girl. They ain't got time for your crying. And some of us, that's why we got parents who are having children before they're ready, because they're raising us in a volatile environment that doesn't give us emotional safety. Now, it happens to men. I just said something really deep right there, and I hope you didn't miss that. Now, most of us men were told when we were 4, 5, and 6 years old, stop acting like a little girl if you cry. Well, so for her, crying was okay and it's considered normal. For him, crying was bad. So what's he going to do when he hurts? I'm going to give you the fast track. I'm going to tell you what happens. By the time he's 18, he's learned to shut all this down. That's why you deal with a man, you wonder, how come he's so insensitive? How come he don't have no passion? He don't have no feelings? Like he's just thug. Why is he like that? That's how he was raised. So watch this, because this is shut down, but on the other hand, she's fully connected. That's what integrity is. It means to be integrated. So her mind, her soul, her spirit, her body, all of it's integrated. That's why you can't get to her drawers without going through her head and her heart. Because it's all connected. Can we be grown up in here? But because there's a disconnect between his head and his head, if he just sees a woman, he can go into her. He doesn't have to feel it. Ooh, I'm telling y'all, this is real right here. So you wonder, see, you call him a freak. He's not a freak, he's fragmented. Y'all wonder why we just want booty. We don't know that's for, you talking about, why don't you hold me? Why don't you feel how I'm feeling? This dead. And you see, I'm enlightening some of y'all because y'all wonder, like, he can have sex with anybody. He ain't got to know it. He don't. Because there's no connection. I'm not saying him per se. Don't y'all treat him like that. Go ahead on the stage, man. They're going to look at you. They might cuss you out later. Go ahead. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So how do you fix that? Like, I was raised that way. None of the guys, you can't cry. Even Jay-Z said, I got to let the song cry. That's why we can empty a pistol into somebody's head. I don't feel. Don't care. How do you do that? God has to heal this whole region of a person who's been shut down in this space and open it back up again. So where they have feelings, where it's okay to feel and you're a whole man. Like, I'll give you an example. If a woman started crying in here right now, she just started bawling, crying, without any coaching, about 10 women would get around. They don't have to know her. They would have tissue. They don't have to know what she's crying about. And guess what? They would start crying too. They don't even know. If one man, if a real thug came up here and started crying, his boys would be like, come on, shawty, come on, man, let's go, man, come on, let's get him out of here, man. Be fat, give him some air, man. in 1996, I was so fragmented, I had to start going to counseling.
Yes.
I've been in counseling since 1996. I go see a therapist all the time. I believe in it. And I'm good. I go to see him to stay like tuned up. Like, I believe in mental health. Like, that counseling opened me up. It opened me up. Because there were things that I was missing there were things that I didn't get from my parents, things I didn't get from my father, things that I longed for from my mother, that I tried to replace in other ways, but I was fragmented. I'm just telling you, ladies, all these dudes ain't freaks, some of them are fragmented. That's why we have to encourage them getting close to God and getting close to men who are open emotionally. That's why, let me tell you one of the reasons why I love Pastor Jenkins so much and why I've always looked up to him, even though he's shorter than me. So I just go down here and I look up to him. But Pastor Jenkins can cry in a minute. He cried like the lion, Simba in the Lion King, one tear coming down the view. I told him he'd say anything. And when I first saw, I couldn't do it. I could never cry. I'd be in a movie, couldn't cry. Nothing would make me cry. And when I started getting close to him and started hearing his heart and got closer, getting bothered by him, I started crying. Like I felt like that was a big moment for me. Like I could cry. Like now I be trying, like I'll be in church and like I used to try to get that thing real quick before anybody saw it. Now I'll be like happy. Look at my face. Look at my face. I'm giving y'all too much information. Let me move on. Let's talk to singles again. Here's another point to take away. Don't tolerate immaturity. Say this after me. Say, I'm trying to be a partner, not a parent. You want to act like a man at night and want to act like a kid all day. You want to act like a woman at night. I can't, if you're immature with your money and you spend your whole check on your nails and your hair and your pocketbooks and you don't have enough money for rent, I ain't paying your rent. Because you're a kid. And I don't want to have sex with you because I ain't a pedophile. Woo! First giving honor to God and Pastor Jesus. You got to grow up. Somebody say grow up. We keep having these little Peter Pan relationships with these little immature people who want to play video games all day and play spades all the time. You want to play spades. Once you get a job, play games with the classified section of the paper. Play games with your resume. Play that. Here's a game to drop your resume off in places and see what happens. Here's a job. Here's a game. Go job hunting. Job hunting. I'm just waiting on my CD to drop, shawty. Oh man, I can't be nobody. You see, y'all got to stop. Some of y'all are acting okay. so the married people got their money separated. The single people paying each other's rent. You co-signing for stuff. Y'all moved in together, went half on an apartment. You lost your mind. You have to see if a person has enough fiscal independence and stability to see how they handle money. Why are you rescuing people? You fill out the applications for them. You go there and do all their paperwork for them. You go research stuff for him. See, watch this. Okay, here you go. How many of you ladies in here have a son? Let me tell you what you got to be very careful about, particularly if his father's not living with him. You have to be very careful that you're not raising a son who is not strong enough to be independent, because your natural inclination as a woman is to protect him. And I'm saying he needs men around him that pull some of that protection away, that can toughen him and mature him, because it's going to take a real man to show him how to become a man. That's not an insult to you, I'm just saying. And sometimes you baby your boy into a man, and then you always, so he's on an AAU team, and he ain't getting no time, so you fussing at the coach, and then the coach say he lazy, he don't want to hustle in practice, so you know what you do? Instead of making him hustle, you switch teams. So they ain't took him a team makeover, fake over. You move him to another team, because you never show him responsibility. So when he gets in trouble at school, you go cuss out the teachers, you go up there with your house coat on, with your little bonnet on your head, looking like Keisha from South Beach. You go up and they say, I bet y'all better not touch Frank. And so you think that little rascal can do no wrong, and you keep bailing him out, keep bailing him out, you keep bailing him out, and what you're doing is, he's going to look for a woman who'll take care of him. It's because you one of them independent women, and you make big money, and you got your stuff together, and you got a BMW, and you got your masters, and you got all that. You feel like you're in a position to do it, so you want to help him drop his CD. Because he got good hair. What time am I supposed to stop? We can do this all night. Married people. Let me jump over to singles for a second. Married. There's something that I call relational ADD. I'm writing a book. This is my second book. I think I'm going to call it Side Chickology. What you don't know can hurt you. That's what I think I'm calling. I'm about 45% done with the book. So y'all pray for me. It's hard to finish this thing because I'm ADD. Can't focus, man. I be trying to write and can't get focused. Just pray for me. I get this book out. One of the things I talk about in the book is ADD, relational ADD. ADD is attention deficit disorder, which is a mental health challenge for somebody who has an inability to focus on things and to stay, kind of stay on track. And I think, I don't mean, anybody knows me knows I'm a big mental health person, so I would never use the term disparagingly, but I believe relationships suffer from ADD. So what happens is this, what happens. When people first get married, there's a lot of attention given to each other. Over time, there's an attention deficit disorder in the relationship. And it usually comes AC or AD. There's a BC time in the marriage, then there's an AD time in the marriage. You ever heard of BC and AD? BC is before children. AD is after them jokers, or after dependents. After the dependents come, it's a game change. Before you had kids, y'all was all over, you could have sex in the kitchen. It didn't make no difference. Right here, right now! I'll put it on you in this car right now. Now the kids are shoot, we don't wake him up. I don't care about waking him up. Now all this energy that used to go to him now goes to little squirrel, little manny man. And them little kids are tricky too. They be breastfeeding and laughing at the father, but they got that breast in their What you right here? Talk to me. Talk to me. Let me say it again. I'm serious, man. I used to hate my sons. I hated both of them. They'd be so son Kimball winked at me one time. I swear. Somebody said ADD. Now all of the attention that used to go like this is now going like this. And the woman's only got so much energy. You try to take care of a little kid. All your energy going to these kids, and you're just trying to follow them around so they don't kill themselves. Nursing them, they throwing up, and they just pooping and doing them jokes that blow their whole back.
Oh my God!
Hey, boo, I give them a bed, just throw them in the tub. You gotta throw the onesie in the trash. You work with that kid and no. What if you got multiples? Work with them jokers all day. It'd be like give them baths to help them with their homework, then put them in bed, and here it is about 10, 15, and you got enough energy to crawl to your room and crawl up in the bed and pass out. Then your husband looking at you like, what's up? And now you hate him for asking. So because he gets tired of the rejection, because you're always tired, he develops a man cave. Who don't want to give away the book? Because if he can't have sex with his wife, he'll take matters into his own hands. Ha-ha. Literally. He goes to his website for Trixie and them. And then he becomes a porn addict, masturbating and self-pleasuring himself while his wife is upstairs, tired. And I'm saying if you don't structure time for each other, you'll be living two different worlds in the same house. And when a person gets hooked on pornography, it is a problem. The first porn moment in the Bible was in 2 Samuel chapter 11. David was looking at porn. Think about that. He's supposed to be at work. You read the stuff. David was supposed to be at work. It's a problem when you take off and you shouldn't be taking off. That joker took off work and took a nap, woke up, was walking across the top of the palace, and saw Bathsheba naked in her own yard bathing. And he saw the soap bubbles running off her naked body. That's a porn movie. He was like, cool. Now, if he was, this is David, the worshiper God, I love you. Most of us still bootlegging David's stuff to this day. We sing stuff right out of the songs. But I'm telling you, he loved God, but he was certainly distracted in this moment. And he got 8 wives in his house. 9, actually. But he's looking at this woman, and instead of him turning away, say, nah, man, I can't do that. He just kept looking. He kept looking. And the thing about pornography is, the Bible says the eye is never satisfied with just seeing. Pornography is a sliding board to hell. I did some research. 300% of porn addicts have infidelity in their marriage. So 300% of the time. That's a high percentage. And there were men and women addicted to porn. It's a mean thing. Because what it teaches you to have sex without relationship. I don't have to communicate to you. I don't have to treat you right. All I gotta do is go to that site. And I can have any size, any color, any shape, any style I want. Sex on demand. The problem with that is you're having virtual sex, but you're married to a human who has feelings, who may be integrated, who may need to feel close to you to open up her body to you because her heart and her womb are connected. The problem is a man doesn't necessarily have to feel close, but he feels value when he gets sex. She can't feel sexual when she doesn't feel close to him. He doesn't feel value when he's not getting sex, so the divide continues. And eventually it'll go past porn to somebody at work. You have to build into your marriage intentional times of closeness. It has to be intentional. I want to give you this because I really don't know how long I've been talking. I really don't. What time did I start talking? Do you remember? 7:10, so I got 3 minutes. I think you should have a 4D marriage. 4D marriage. 4D. I'm going to give you these Ds. Your marriage should consist of dating. That's an important D. You should date every week. At least once a week. Even if you have the money, go somewhere for free. And dating does not include strollers and car seats and children. Drop them jokers off somewhere. Drop them off at church. Act like you was going to church and just go home. Your number be coming up on the screen. You're like, where are these parents? You dropped them off at the 8 o'clock service, came back after the 12 o'clock service. You're like, we back? Y'all should be close to Jesus by now. Dating. A lot of marriages are suffering because they have no fun. Dating. You dated to get married, you need to date to stay married. Here's another one, dreaming. A 4D marriage is when there's dreaming. You ought to dream together. Just sit around sometime and just say, what could be? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do we want to be financially? What kind of house do we want to live in? What kind of cars do we want to drive? What kind of schools do we want to be able to put our children into? What kind of financial freedom do we want to have? You should be able to sit there and dream together. Not fuss. Dream. The third D is discovering. You should be dating, dreaming, and discovering. That's getting to know one another. Know one another. There are 2 ways of getting to know one another. There's intellectual knowledge, then there's intimacy knowledge. In the Bible, in the book of Genesis, in the Old Testament, when it describes the word sex, it would say the man knew his wife. So there should be some of that. Glory to God. Regularly. Regular sex protects the marriage. Regular sex protects the marriage. Regular sex protects the marriage. You should do it as often as you can. You know, the Bible says about communion, do this as often as you do this, do it in remembrance of me. Do it as often as possible. I'm just saying. But you got to get to know each other by conversations. Conversations that get to the feeling level and the deep level of what are your needs? What do you feel? What are you afraid of? What are your fears? What are your flaws? What are your fantasies? Can we ask those questions and get to the deep root of who we are and still be safe? Can I share with you my fears and my flaws and my fantasies and you still love me? Can I let you see into me and you still love me? That's deep right there. Getting to know each other. Having conversations that go below the surface to what the weather is, to how I'm feeling, and what I'm dreaming. Discovery. That's deep. Discovering, dreaming, dating, and discipling together. Discipling. Praying together. That's an ideal marriage. Do I have a perfect marriage? No. Ideal marriage. Discipling together. Worship together. I really think that ideally you should go to the same church. I really do. I think, okay, let's just say this. Let's just say you go to church and she goes to church. Or you go to church, she goes to church, and y'all don't go to the same church. I'm saying, then try this. If you go to church and you go one of the churches that have multiple services, then go to both on Sunday. But try to be together. I think it's dangerous for a man or a woman to continue to be seen alone in worship. Because eventually one of them greeters going to come by named Doug, and he passed that basket, and he been doing his curls, and his arm come out, and you can say, "Dang, Joe, Skeeter's arm don't look like that." But if Skeeter was there, you wouldn't even look at Gerald's arm. I don't know where that came from. Praying together, worshiping together, sharing things, spiritual truths together. All of that's a 4D marriage. I got Okay, I'll say one more thing to singles. This is most of y'all here. Can I say one more thing to singles? I think as a single, the problem with a secret relationship, the reason why you got to get more eyes and ears on your relationships, if you have them, is because although love is blind, your friends aren't. And your family ain't. We ain't blind. That's why you got to get other people to look at the person and talk to the person. And then go ask them, so what you think? You want me to keep it real? But somebody, you got to say something like, I think he's okay. Let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. Stop going on trips alone together. Stop being so private. Stop disappearing from your circle. You're not married yet. Anyway, I've talked to y'all a long time. I think we're going to do some questions and stuff like that. So let's do that. Has this been helpful to y'all? Okay. Let's go with what's the format? So I think there are microphones in here. I don't know if there are any in the hallway or in the overflow rooms, but there are microphones in here that somebody can come up to and ask a question or give a scenario or give a comment. I think this is being recorded. Is this being recorded? So know that when you get up here and start talking about it. Is this live streaming too? It's on Facebook Live. All right. The views expressed on this Facebook Live are not those of the First Baptist Church of Glen Art and John K. Jr. Sr. or his affiliates. You gotta say that before people start walking up to the mic. I don't know what they want to say. Y'all good? Y'all ain't got no questions? All right. All it takes is one to break the ice.
So, Pastor, my question to you would be, when in the dating and the courtship, after possibly dating multiple people, would you say that the strategy, I guess, or the decision making of marrying someone is it's somebody you want or somebody that you need?
Are you with him? Oh, okay, I was about to say. Huh? What? Hey. She said we're just friends. He said family. It might be a whole card. She goes, no, I'm not. I ain't no whole card. Listen. The question is both sincere and I love it because he said when you're dating multiple people, do you go what you want or what you need? Now, let me tell you something that can be very emotionally painful for somebody. When you're in a relationship with somebody and you believe, okay, put yourself in this situation. I think if I'm in a relationship with somebody who told me I'm what they need, I don't want to stay. I don't want you introducing me and saying, yeah, girl, the Lord sent him. It ain't what I wanted, but it's what I need. Come on, Keith. Yeah, he's saved. That's why he's here. No, I'm saying you gotta want what you need. You know, like, why should I live in a marriage or a relationship with somebody whose testimony is, this was God's choice for me? I wanted to marry DeCarlos, but the Lord sent me a Christian man, a praying man. He is a praying man. He's a praying man. Might want to be nothing like that. Like I'm just the God man. I mean, y'all feel me? Like, what if you that woman say, yeah, you know what I like. You know how I like them, but I had to go with the Lord on this one. You gotta want what you need, man. Great question. Who else? Is there one? Watch this. She's gonna try to act like this ain't her question. I'm gonna answer for somebody online. She's trying to come up with the paper and everything like somebody said, it's you. Somebody wants to know. I'm just joking.
Okay, so these are internet that question.
I know.
From Twitter.
For sure.
They're from Twitter. Make sure you tweet us on Twitter.
Make sure you tweet us on Twitter. What else you gonna do on Twitter?
See, I don't know. Okay, so the first question is, can intentions change while you are in a relationship?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You start getting more information. I don't think this is gonna work. I thought you had 2 kids. You got 4. Absolutely. See, to me, courtship is a search. It's research. It's revelation. You can't do that with your hand on people's butt and your tongue in their mouth. You can't do no research like that. You gotta be disconnected. See, promiscuity produces ambiguity. Whenever a relationship between 2 Christians gets sexual, it gets cloudy. Now we don't know what to do. Our mind is confused. We're feeling convicted. We're feeling shame. We don't hear from God the same way. We don't worship the same. Watch people who are fornicate. They don't worship the same. They're like, yeah, I'm crazy. Hey. Once you cross that line, see, it was so much better when we wasn't saved, right? You remember you had sex when you wasn't saved? You'd be like, yeah, that was good. When you say you had sex, you be like, dang, what did I just do? I'm so sorry, Lord. Come on, let's ask the Lord to forgive us right now. We be butt naked praying. Jesus, we sorry. We did it again, Lord. What is wrong with you? All right. I told you I was going to have fun here tonight. Woo. I got to catch my breath.
Okay, so this is a bit personal, but I'm a virgin, and that's my choice.
Okay, hold it up. All the disconnected brothers going like this. Put the camera on him. Put the camera, take the camera off of him. Put it on her. He ain't a freaky fragmented, that's all. When he come together, he gonna be whole. Man of God. Mend. Okay.
So that's my choice, and I wanted to know how do you deal with temptation when society has programmed us to think that premarital sex is acceptable?
So, you know, like every cultural lie, or everything in culture that leaves out the whole truth, right? So when people in culture look at it, you know, everybody's having sex, right? The part of the story that people never post is when they're getting an injection for an STD. Right. Nobody at the STD clinic saying they had to shoot me right here with that needle. Man, I was crying and hollering because I had gonorrhea. No, who says that? Who hashtags gonorrhea? Current move, syphilis. See, ain't nobody talking about that part. How about abortion and the the emotional trauma of killing another baby? How about unwanted pregnancies or brokenheartedness and emotional disconnection and being fragmented? Nobody's talking about that. How about when the person you're supposed to be faithful to finds out and they bust your windows out your car and they're hurt and they're traumatized and they can't trust you and you got to rebuild trust? None of those stories are played out in the narrative. The narrative just looks like we just getting our smash on. And it's all good. And I'm saying you just got to stay woke. Like there's a lot of pain that people who are unlike you are experiencing. And I'm telling you, a lot of them wish they could go back to where you were. So, how old are you?
19.
Oh, she was late. You're supposed to be a virgin. He's losing virginity at 11 now. Playing house. Okay, yeah. Thank God for her. Thank God for her. Mic check. Yeah. So I'm down.
Okay.
All right.
Question is,
Question is. No. That's what you had to say when a man gets in can have some sex. No.
for those of us who are in church and then like we're hearing that, it's best to find somebody in church or find somebody,
I say best find somebody in Christ.
in Christ. Okay.
It's just not the same.
But the problem that I've had and people that I know is that how can single women find someone or meet someone, I don't say find, meet someone when 90% of the church is women. And then the 10% that are men are already married. Their wives are already there, usually. So what are we supposed to do?
Well, I think
I'm
that's
not moving.
I think that's a bit.
I was saying that some people say, well, you're in the wrong neighborhood, you're in the wrong area, but that would be for the wrong reason to get up and move, like say, to another church that's real big just for that reason. But if you're comfortable in the church you are, everybody you see is a woman, and then there's no single men coming in the church, not for that reason, but just in the church. And then the 5 people, 10% that's there, their wives are already there. So, what
Come
do
here.
you do?
Hey, no, come here. Okay, hey, listen, if you're a single man, no, I'm not playing. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. I want to make a point. If you're a single man, I want you to stand up. If you can physically stand up, if you're unmarried, I want you to stand up. All right? Now, if you're a single man and you're in any one of our overflow rooms, please come over here real quickly. I just want to make a point. I want you to come in here. Y'all brothers, come up here real quick. Just come up here for a second. I'm making a point. It ain't a joke. It ain't a joke, for real. Every single man, can you come down here real quick? Just come up here. If you're a single man in overflow, come right here. Come right here. listen. See, when Danielle made the statement, the reason why I wanted to change the narrative is because it's extreme. And she says, it ain't no men here, no men in the church, and 90% of 90% of us are women, and the other 10% of men who are in here are already married. I'm saying all these men right here are single men. Right? So you say, what I'm saying is, you see all of them? All you need is one. You ain't got to worry about the stats. All you need. Go get him, go get him, go get him. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Give it up for the brothers. All you need is one. I don't care if there's only four. You just need one. Don't worry about everybody else. One. Go online, ChristianDating.com. All you need is one. Just one. Keep it simple. With you? Oh, okay, y'all matching this stuff. That's when you know you're in love, when you wear the same outfit. You ready? All right, praise the Lord.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
So now.
Oh, wait, ready? Whoa. Just how you gotta do it. You ready? First, giving honor to God. Come on, say it. First, giving honor to God.
Okay, so for those of us who are a little more seasoned and who've been married before, first marriage didn't work, but let me preface that by saying God told me don't marry him in the first place, so please. If God tells you don't marry him, do not marry him. I don't care how embarrassed you might think you may be, don't do it. So, God told me don't marry him in the first place, and I did anyway, and it was the worst mistake of my life. Because not only did he damage me, he damaged my sons that I already had. So what do you say in that situation? Because what we try to do is we don't want to carry that baggage into a new relationship. But we are supposed to take those lessons into the new relationship so you don't make those same mistakes. So what do you say for some of us? Because we are more seasoned. I'll be 50. And I'm not
Say what?
I'll be 50, and I don't want to make that same.
No, you said something before that. We are what? More seasoned.
We're more seasoned, a little more seasoned. And, you know, I am a little more seasoned, and I've been married before. So I don't want to make that same mistake because I do desire to be married again, but I want to do it God's way. So how do we walk that balance, but don't make those same mistakes?
So, before I answer the question, are you still married to him?
No.
Are you divorced?
Yes.
Okay. That's
We're
another
not
thing.
divorced. We weren't, but we are not divorced.
Huh?
Well, no. What I meant by that is the divorce was just final just recently. But I have not laid eyes on my ex-husband since 2012.
Yeah, but I want to be clear. When you're single, make sure the person you have an interest in is completely single, not in process. Because you might be messing up something God can restore. So don't just say yeah. Or somebody saying, well, yeah, I'm leaving my wife or I'm leaving my husband. I do think, I just believe the plans that God has for our life are good. Like, I believe he has a plan for everybody's life that's good. But I do believe there's a personal responsibility when I've made some mistakes that have created the circumstances that I am now in, that I need to do work to repair, right? And if you don't heal really good from this, you can't love really good because you will always love them. You will always relate to people through the lens of your wound, right? So if it's not closed, you got to get that right, and you're going to have some help with that. It's not just Bible study. I'm not minimizing that. But you may have to go to a counselor and have somebody go into that space of how traumatized it really was. Because you just gave us a quick snapshot of the pain. But the damage to your children, they may have to be whole. Because what will happen is, every time you look at your children and how they're hurting, it'll remind you of what you did and the shame that you had by the pain you caused. You got to heal from all of that. Your self-blame. See, you're just blaming him right now and blaming yourself for making a decision that God chose you not to make. But it's a whole lot in there that you got to come out whole. And that can take you a considerable amount of time to do that. So if I were you, I wouldn't be focused on a relationship with another person. I'd be focusing on having a healthy relationship with myself and with God so I get whole. So that once I'm whole, I am healthy enough to enter into a relationship and not hold somebody else hostage for a crime somebody else made and did to me. But be woke, learn from it. I agree. But I think you're in a process of your healing. You need some time. You need some time to do that. Yes, let's go.
Hello. How do I continue to keep a man interested once I tell him or I let him know that I'm celibate? And so my mother's like, don't tell a man you're celibate, And I'm like, but I try to live.
Surprising.
That's what for real. So I should live. He should know. I feel that in my head, I'm like, okay, he should know by my action and my words and by the way I am. But if a guy, guys today, they talk so fast and they move too quick. And so if a guy's talking sexual, and is asking me a question and I say, oh no, I'm not, I try to ease off that conversation. You say, do I surprise him? You say, don't.
No, I think if we could bring all the single guys back up here again, what I would do is, I would tell you how powerful that is. It is clarifying. It cuts to the chase. So let's say we line 100 single men up here, right? And you say, what's your name?
Tina,
I'm celibate, I'm not going to have sex, so I'll get married. If you have a problem with that, that's cool. I'm saying that's going to knock off 70 of them right there. But I'm saying that's good. We get close. That's what I'm saying. It's just they're going to disappear like that. Remember, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. It takes a man who's committed to Christ and who's wholly emotionally to even appreciate celibacy. I love you that much that I don't want to harm you or I don't want to blow this. It's another level. So just quit. Yeah, they don't need you trying to surprise you. Your mother's feeling sorry for you, is trying to give you a new strategy to keep people around a little longer. I'm saying that's a waste of their time and yours. Listen, Louis Greenup says, no wed, no bed. No ring, no thing. No contract, no contact. Yes. She next? Okay, I don't know where we want to be in order. You go after her then.
Good evening, everyone. How, in this day and age, everybody is spiritual. You don't need to go to church. You got God right here. And in this
Say what? You do what?
In this day and age, everyone is spiritual, right?
You got God while you're here.
You know all the sayings. I don't need to go to church. I can pray at home. God is with me.
Okay.
And there's more and more. So, I wouldn't really call and they say, I wouldn't call yourself religious. So how do you operate that way if you're looking for someone to be equally yoked with you when everybody is spiritual?
So you saying people are spiritual, but they're not really committed to the Lord?
Yes,
okay.
exactly. They haven't seen the church in 10 years, haven't stepped foot, they haven't opened up a Bible, they haven't prayed, but they spiritual.
Yeah, I'm saying there's all of that out here today.
Yeah.
There's all of that. There are people who are agnostic. There are people who are atheists. There are people who are Islamic. There are people who are...
But I feel like it's a thing these days.
Yeah.
You got evangelist YouTubers, it's like it's a whole set. that's coming out where everybody is spiritual and they're against the church, in that sense. So how do you operate in the church looking for someone equally yoked in that mainstream?
So, so here's the thing. I think a bigger picture is important. There are 7.6 billion people in the world. I think our world is too small in our thing. There's 7.6 billion people in the world, first of all. There are 323 million people in America. I'm saying, first of all, take your mind off of the 600 Facebook friends you have, right? Now, I'm not saying that to be condescending. I'm just saying our world is so small that we tend to make big conclusions about a small composite of the world that we've seen and understood. That doesn't mean that there's not a lot of spiritualists out there or people who are not really truly following Christ. But I'm saying there are people who are. And I'm saying connect with those networks. One of the things you all have now that we didn't have when I got married is you have a social network. You have the internet, which can give you access to the world. Like there are groups all over the world that you can connect with. And so expand your reach or your connection and your relationships. Expand your boundaries so that you're not just limited to a limited amount of people. And just know at the end of the day that although you may have multiple options, you're only going to marry one person. So, I know it's easier for me to not be discouraged because I'm not a woman and I'm not single. And I don't want to be insensitive to that. But I also don't want to be a pessimist about it either. Like we're doing weddings all the time. So somebody's figuring it out. Like one of my pastors in the church does like 50 weddings a year. Like this is like a wedding every week. He's doing one probably now. Just doing it in his office. Like people are getting married. Don't be hopeless.
Thank you.
All right? Yeah.
Just giving honor to God.
Come on here! Come on in here! Pastor, saints, and friends.
First, giving honor to God. I just want to say this, Pastor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I seen where the young lady got up and was talking about the brothers and the men. And you called them all up. My thing is, out of that big group, and I loved it because I love to see the men come together and praise God. But out of that big group, how many of those men are pursuing a wife or
I say no.
And also, if you did that same thing with the single women,
Well,
would you do it?
it ain't enough room.
Okay. So I'm just saying, in a sense, kind of piggybacking off of the sister that got up here to talk about all the men. And the seasoned woman, I'm seasoned and I'm divorced. And I am pursuing marriage again. I had a marriage. I believe it did what God wanted it to do. I do not.
I bet you from here, ain't you?
God
You should have a
wanted it.
merge. I had a merge and a purge.
First, giving honor to God. But anyway, and it is the pursuit, the numbers alone, Pastor, really are kind of like, they dominate. The women dominate. But again, how many brothers, and that's just kind of like a question, just something for the brothers to think about. How many of you all are really pursuing a wife and not that chick on the side?
That wasn't a question. That was a stand. Take that all 100.
Oh, you did say first giving on the guard, Pastor, when you first started. You said question, comment, whatever. So I did that.
I did clear. I am in order. Amen. I think we have to find a way to get more men to participate in something like this. This is not necessarily, for a man to participate in it, there may have to be some kind of different setup or a different time. I don't know. But I disagree that there are not any men. And I believe some of them are looking for a wife. Maybe they don't. I know some men that really are looking. They're just not clear on what to do. Okay. All right. This is it.
I'm the last one.
You the last one.
Oh, true. I was going to ask the same thing she did, but I always have another question. How you doing, Pastor?
Hey, how you doing?
So, I don't go here. So, my church is predominantly like 50 and plus or whatever. Yeah. I love it though. Those are my people. I love it. They the bomb. But my question is it okay or is it wrong? Okay, I'm a female. I should not pursue. Got it. Bible, I read it, right? So is it wrong for us to online date as a Christian? Because I'm being real, I've been on Christian Mingle, them brothers ain't saved, yo. No. That's real.
I don't know enough about that.
Oh, look what it got from Ashley.
I don't know enough. This is the first time I've heard something negative about it. I don't know anything about it. So, if you're at a church with 50 and over, I think the good thing is one of them cats probably has all his debts paid. We probably got good credit. He'll be dead in 20 years. Work it. You are in a strategic location. No, I don't know anything about dating online. I mean, but you know what? There's a problem with everything. People say, somebody say, I ain't dating no man in church. I ain't dating nobody online. I ain't dating nobody I meet outside. There is something good and bad about everything. You know? I'm just, if you want to cancel that as an option because you had some experiences, then it's like people that don't want to be on social media because they say it's evil. Like, it's some good on social media. A lot of advertisement for this event was social media. I think that's a good thing, right? So we're going to just throw social media in the trash out. I don't know. I've been off the circuit for 31 years, so I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about that to answer that.
Okay.
All right. Is somebody going to just go gangster? All right, we don't want no trouble. You got some more online questions? Act like you're reading it. What you doing? It's me? Oh, she said she had an online question. We're done? What do I do now? You're doing so good, though. All right. Okay, praise the Lord. Thank y'all. It's been an honor for me to serve y'all tonight. I've had a lot of fun. Give it up for Josh and Georgina for organizing this, putting this all together. And we don't want to close tonight's service out. Please don't run out. Please, if you don't mind, you want to support, get some great tools. I got some great relationship stuff that I teach that I didn't teach tonight, but will be helpful for you for single. DVDs and CDs, all kinds of stuff that will help you along the journey. I'm not just trying to throw something on you. I wouldn't give it to you if it wasn't good and helpful. So please stop by the table and can pick that up. But we don't want to close this service out without giving somebody a chance to get right with God, to align their lives with Him. And maybe somebody here tonight has felt a void and saying, I just don't feel like I'm connected to God the way I should be. And I sense that I'm in an environment where I can be honest about that. And I want prayer so that I can get connected to God and know that I have a relationship with Him. I don't want to leave here like being around all these people who love God and feel close to Him, but I don't feel either. And maybe I had a relationship with God, but I went astray. Or maybe I thought I did and I never did. Or maybe somebody can help me and give me some clarity with that. If you feel like you have a spiritual need like that, in a moment I'm going to ask you to just take a step of faith and come to the front, and we're going to pray with you and support you. And maybe you're here tonight, and there's two other things. Maybe you're here and you're saying, I think I'm okay with God spiritually, but I would really like to join this church. I'd like to join the First Baptist Church of Glen Arden now. I don't want to wait till Sunday. Tomorrow's not promised. I want to join tonight, and I'll be good. I want to start that relationship tonight. You can connect tonight with the church. You want to do that, we want to make sure you have that opportunity. So if you have a spiritual need, saying, I need clarity in where I stand with God, I want to get saved, or I want to be sure, I want to get closer to Him. I just want somebody to pray with me, or I want to become a part of this church. Any one of those things, just come to the front right now. We want to pray for you. Just tell somebody next to you, just say, excuse me, just pardon me, I need to. Well, since we're from Maryland, just say, excuse me. Excuse me, I'm going down the front, excuse me. And you need to go with me. Amen. I'm going to give somebody a chance. You might be in one of the overflow rooms, one or two overflow rooms. We'll wait for you to come over here. Say, that's me, you're talking to me tonight. I just need a closer walk with God. I need a closer walk with God, or I need to know that I have a relationship with Him. If that's you, come on. We just want to pray with you and join our faith with you so that you can have the things you desire. There's somebody here today. Amen. God bless you, man. Anybody else that feels like that's me tonight? Or maybe there's a lady here tonight that's looking at him and saying, that's me. Put your handcuff up in the air. Stay where you are. Can't joke at the altar call. Amen. Amen. Anybody else before we pray? I'm about to pray now. I'm about to close this service out in prayer. If you say, I need special prayer. I don't just need the general joint pastor. I need special prayer in my life. What I'm dealing with, what I'm facing, I want God to know I need Him. And I want to be clear about that. If that's you, before I pray, I want to give you an opportunity to come. Nobody? All right, come on. Good, I'm so proud of y'all. So proud of y'all. Come on, the club. Ladies free before 11. Come on, hurry up. You know what somebody's thinking right now? Well, I don't even know what's the difference does it make if I go up there. Well, you don't know. We know what'll happen if you do nothing. We don't know what will happen if you just humble yourself and say, God, that's me. I'm going up there. I done tried everything else. I'm going to let somebody pray for me. Amen. I'm really going to pray, y'all, because I'm tired. I'm tired of waiting on y'all, too. Amen. Let's pray. All right, y'all ready? If your hands are free, just lift them up to the Lord if they're free. Father, I thank you for this opportunity to lift up these men and women to you who've come with their hearts open for your touch, your healing, your power, your blessing. I pray for every need that they have in their life, financially, spiritually, emotionally. Some may need a medical miracle. Somebody's mother is sick. Somebody's in medical trouble right now, and they're concerned about how it's going to turn out. would you show yourself mighty and show yourself strong on their behalf? Would you give healing? And even if you don't give healing, would you give a peace that surpasses all understanding, that won't traumatize us and have us tossing and turning all night? We trust you, God. No matter how it turns out, we trust you. I pray for our spiritual relationship. I pray for a renewal of spiritual lives around this altar. I pray for those who didn't come forward, who should have, that you would touch them right where they are and minister to their lives. I pray for marriages that are represented in this room and people who are watching online. Give miracles, God, as only you can. Bring us closer together. Give us marriages that are full of dating and dreaming and discipling and discovering, that are fun and loving and solid and firm and secure. Give singles discernment to know who's really for me and who's just tolerating me. I want to be celebrated, not tolerated. Shock them, blow their minds with the kind of blessings you send their way. And we thank you in advance now in Jesus' name. And all God's people say amen. Amen. Amen, 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 amen.
Real quick before y'all leave, before you guys go, is there anybody here who wants to receive a relationship, get a relationship with God? If you want to receive salvation, everybody saved? We had a full saved altar. Amen. Give God glory. Amen. Can we give it up for Pastor Keith Bell? So listen, before we leave out of here, Pastor, let him